Welcome back to Flint Briar. I'm Gareth. Well, just enjoying a pipe full my old Briar Works mini bulldog. Pipe full of velvet. I haven't had velvet in I don't know how long. Sitting out here in the foothills of Kansas. The frozen foothills of Kansas. Out camping for the weekend. It's about just under 22 degrees Fahrenheit right now. It's getting to be later afternoon, so temperature's definitely dropping. I think it's supposed to get down to about 6 degrees Fahrenheit tonight, 5 or 6, so not too crazy cold, but cold enough. I wasn't really sure if I was going to go camping this weekend or maybe try to go next weekend, but I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get out here because it snowed. I mean, we got, I think, a little over a foot of snow about 2 weeks ago back at home. Up here is to the northeast, and I thought, if anything, they got a little bit more here. But looking at the weather, there wasn't really going to be a whole lot of... last 2 days were pretty warm. It got like to the 40s Fahrenheit. And then this weekend the weather changes. So at first I thought maybe I should wait and try to go next weekend after the roads... Well, the paved roads are fine. They're clear and dry, but like the roads out here, the gravel roads, that maybe they would melt out more or whatever. But my wife kind of suggested that I go this weekend. And upon thinking about that, I decided that was probably a smarter way to go because I'm camped out in a lot of snow, obviously, and this weekend it will stay frozen. Frozen snow is dry. Frozen ice is dry, obviously, as opposed to slopping around in wet stuff and mud. Where you get wet, you get cold, that sort of thing. So I decided to give it a shot to come out, and last night I drove out here, and I was really shocked to see that most of the gravel roads around the campground, around the whole state lake here, were actually plowed. I really did not think that they'd be plowed, and good thing they are, because I would not have been driving around here if they weren't. I would not have even tried it. So things worked out pretty perfectly. I couldn't get back. They plowed basically all the roads except the one little arm where I usually camp. But that's okay. There's a spot here, which usually I don't consider to be a very good camping spot. But with some snow on the ground, winter conditions, it's really not that bad. I'm enjoying it well enough here. I have a good cleared spot for my truck to park on it, to park my truck on. So really, it all worked out perfectly. Yeah, I found a good downed chinkapin oak tree that I sawed up, so I have plenty of firewood. Probably more than I need out here. Just throw it back in my truck. But I don't burn. Yep. It's good. Winter camp out in the second half of January. when it comes to the pipe blends that I brought with me out here. I just grabbed some Codger blends for the most part. I had a pipe full of half and half earlier. I have Velvet here. I have some Sir Walter Raleigh. Threw in a pouch of Captain Black that I haven't finished off. Probably started open that pouch probably 2 years ago. I just knew it was going to be cold, and I didn't know how much I'd smoke, and didn't really want to fuss with the nicer stuff. Sometimes if it's cold enough, you can smoke a pipe and enjoy it well enough, but just felt like going with the easy stuff. I almost grabbed my mason jar of my Shelby foot mixture, but I decided against that because it's 2/3 Edward G. Robinson and 1/3 half and half, and the Eddie G part of that is now a finite resource, so I decided to leave that one at home. I'll enjoy that stuff under better environmental conditions. Yeah, but yeah, well, it's kind of hard to escape the whole Sutliff mech baron thing in a sense, but I've stocked up as much as I reasonably could, which is nothing too crazy, and I guess some of the stuff I have is what I have, and it lasts however long it lasts. And that's all there is to that. I am hoping that doesn't have bigger repercussions for the American market, with like some of the smaller blenders that were using Sutliff stuff. Unfortunately, it's a step not in the right direction, but I don't know. Nothing I can do about it. I do kind of wonder how many years worth of tobacco in general I have put away. It would last me many years, I'm sure. I don't know if I have a lifetime supply yet, but I suppose I might. Just depends how many bowls a week I'd smoke, sort of thing. But the days are getting a little bit longer. The sun's staying out a little bit longer. But we're obviously here in Kansas anyway. This is definitely the time of year where you get some of these cold snaps, where you get some of the coldest weather of the year. I mean, usually tail end of December, into January. Sometimes, like 4 years ago or so, we had a good cold snap in February. I came and camped out here. That's that one time where I heard the weird buzzing sound when I was ice fishing. Talked about that in some video, like my weird story or something video. I can't remember what the title was, but that happened during that cold snap out here. But usually it's not too terribly cold in February, and sometimes it can be fairly warm too. It just kind of depends. I've been eating some, I think they're called meal cold weather. It's like the cold weather version of the MRE. Main difference being that the entrees are freeze dried. And they come in white packaging. Well, the outside plastic pouch is white. Whereas the MREs, they're ready to eat, and those entrees are, they're have liquid in them. Just warm them up or eat them cold, sort of thing. So in the winter or cold conditions, that they freeze. So having a freeze-dried entree, it gets around that. Of course, you need water. You need to have hot water to add to them. I bought like a case of those a year ago. I probably shouldn't have bothered. They're not really that. Those sorts of things are almost kind of like just a novelty to me. More than anything else, it's just kind of fun to open up and see what's in there and eat the meals and all that sort of stuff. The meal cold weathers aren't necessarily all that interesting, I guess. I think the older ones that they had, 30, 40 years ago, I think they had more stuff, and it was like a 2-pack set. It was like a whole day's worth of food, and there was like hot chocolate in there, or just more stuff. I think all the old MREs used to have hot chocolate in them, just a regular, year-round ones. And now a few of them have some sort of chocolate drink, but most of them don't, and that kind of surprises me. I'm sure they have their reasons for it, but I don't know. These cold weather meals are a little bit disappointing to me, so I don't think I'll feel the urge to buy more of them. But I've been eating through a few of those out here just for the heck of it. Might as well. It's cold. But yeah, I'll take the camera off and show you what things look like around here in my crappy non-edit sort of way. Hopefully that wasn't too sorry of a little pan and scan sort of deal. Not that that's what that means, but you know what I'm saying. Did want to say something before I close this out. A few days ago, David Lynch died, who was a movie director, say maybe movie writer. The one television thing he did was Twin Peaks. I'm a big Twin Peaks fan. He's also a painter, photographer, and I believe a musician. I ran across the news that he had died, I believe, Thursday night. And I can't remember which day it was, but only a few days before that, I pulled out my Twin Peaks A to Z box set. And I popped the Blu-ray disc in, and I watched most of before I fell asleep, which I oftentimes do when I'm watching stuff late at night. I watched the pilot episode for Twin Peaks. And then a few days later, David Lynch died. So I found the timing of that kind of curious. I'm not going to get into specifics or details because I may have shared this before and it doesn't really matter. But there have been times in the past where I've had like songs pop into my head, kind of just out of the blue, and then I find out like one of the musicians. This has happened twice now. I find that one of the musicians involved in that song had like died like that day. So it almost seems like this sort of, I guess it would be a retrocognitive sort of thing, not precognitive, but just this weird sort of thing that song pops in my head and then I find out somebody involved in it died sort of thing. So the Twin Peaks thing and David Lynch dying, I do kind of wonder if maybe there was some sort of precognitive thing with that, but I really can't claim that because with the LA wildfires, there's let's just say that there's kind of situational contamination with this case, because with the LA wildfires, I was looking at maps and stuff, and like Mulholland Drive is out there, and he made a movie called Mulholland Drive, so that made me think of that movie and him. And I saw somewhere there was a little message put out by probably Dave Lynch's family that he was safe from the fires, or friends of his or something, because people have been wondering if people's houses are burnt down, or if people are safe, that sort of thing. So in the days leading up to him dying, I can't remember the timing of all that, but I had thought of him and some of his stuff. So is that why I pulled out Twin Peaks? Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I found that interesting. I'm not really claiming anything weird was going on, but it just is what it is. But quite an interesting artist, I would say. If you've watched any of his stuff, it's it's very a lot of it's weird and hard to figure out, to say the least. I think a lot of his stuff, he pretty much wanted to be the only one that knew what was going on, or what it really meant. Twin Peaks, he and Mark Snow both worked together. Mark Snow was a TV writer. I think he did stuff with like Hill Street Blues and other stuff. Hill Street Blues was before my time, in a sense. I mean, I remember it when it was on TV, but as a kid, it wasn't the sort of thing I watched. But anyway, yeah. Finish off my pipe. Probably eventually light up another one, maybe in front of the campfire once I get that going. But yeah, I'll be talking to you. Thanks for joining me. I'll be talking to you here in the not too distant future, I'm sure. So, I'm Gareth, Flint Hills Briar. See you next time.